Good evening, everybody. This is Rockin on Air. Rockin on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by the Printed Image, specializing in custom screen printing and embroidery in Chico since 1980. Using the latest technology of their state-of-the-art building, the Printed Image provides custom screen printing, embroidery, apparel, and promotional products for businesses, organizations, or special events, with dedicated specialists providing quality service, quick turnaround, and memorable products. Call 898-9525 or visit printed-imagechico.com. Well, this is going to be kind of a different show tonight, a pretty cool one. We're having writing in the form of music. And we have Julian with us tonight. Julian Gabbard, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. And we're going to be introing and outroing with his music, too. So if it sounds a little bit different, that is why. And we'll get to a full read through on that once we get going in it. But for now, I wanted to read your little bio here because it's pretty cool. Based out of Chico, California, Julian Gabbard is a 20-year-old audio engineer, vocalist, and producer. He began creating music at a very young age, beginning with guitar and vocals, playing open mics, and singing to support himself, to creating adult contemporary tracks on his own. Julian works from his own home studio, creating, mixing, and mastering all of his tracks on his own, which is impressive, by the way, because there is a lot of work that goes into this stuff.
Yeah.
So tell us, what is an audio engineer?
Well, what I do essentially is I have an idea in mind when I sit at my computer, and I make a beat, whether it's starting with chords, starting with, percussion or anything like that, whatever I'm feeling in the moment. Is as I'm writing, I create the lyrics, and I feel like both really intertwine, because when you're making music, the different kinds of chord you're using really... Yeah. It reflects what you're saying in your lyrics too. Whether it's sad, happy, it really changes what the sound sounds
so language.
Like. Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Well, audio engineering, essentially, I make it radio worthy, Nice. So you hear a song on the radio and it's the vocals, it's the drums, the music, it's all together in one, and it's a good sound you're hearing when you're listening in headphones or in speakers or something like that. So it's a nice warm feeling, and it's reflecting what I want my lyrics to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, not to mention sounding good, just like nice leveled out.
That's 50-50 of it,
Yeah.
The rest is all,
There's
it's very technical.
Super technical. For those of you who don't know, like a lot of music is very, like nowadays music, I'll say, has been very heavily edited and tweaked in a lot of ways to make it radio worthy, like you said. So the fact that you do all of that on your own, that's pretty cool. That's awesome. But we have pretty short time slot, so I wanted to start on your first piece. Is there anything you want to mention about it?
Well, this first piece is called Bother You, and it's very personal to me, because the message behind it is because I have a hard time expressing emotions in everything except music, and the whole idea behind it is, for example, reacting in a situation, not necessarily how the other person would expect you to react. And it's kind of asking, hey, is this all right? Is that going to freak you out if I don't, react the way you expect me to react in this situation? So, and the song's a happy little bop, so I want whether or not the lyrics are sad, the songs, making it a little less dreary than it might be necessarily. So I hope you enjoy it.
Cool. And just double checking, that was Bother You or Hard to Love?
Oh, Bother You. I apologize.
Cool. And that's your single too, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to come back to that because I want to ask about it. But Bother You, here we go.
When my eyes look high, doesn't bother you, doesn't bother you.
Dude, that song rocks, man.
Thanks so much.
We were talking while it was playing. This is your now first time having stuff aired on the radio.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man.
Wow, it feels good.
You guys have heard it here, and I'll make sure he signs something for me so when he gets crazy famous, I have something to tie myself to it.
Oh, man.
So this was Bother You. Tell us about it a little bit.
Well, like I said before, it's a very personal song to me. I don't know if you really heard it, but it's a bop, but the lyrics are a lot deeper. So, like I said, I like to make the music a little lighter, a little more, it's all going to be all good, give it some time, but, the message.
Hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful. Yeah, exactly.
What is, you said it was a bop?
It's a bop. I like to. It's kind of like, I don't know. I say a bop just because it's
cool.
It gets you rocking around,
kind of grooving,
your foot tapping, your head moving around.
Gives you that little hopeful feeling, like you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's grooving and it's also like has a message. So I feel like it's a perfect combination between the two.
And dude, as far as the mix went, like I could hear the lyrics pretty clear. So I'm assuming everyone out there could hear them pretty cool too. Man, they're pretty deep. Like. The first little stanza here, I'll read it just so you guys can catch this again. When my eyes don't cry, does it bother you? Does it bother you? I know I'm dead inside. Does it bother you? But my mind don't lie. Even if my eyes don't cry, hope it doesn't bother you. There's a lot of like complex emotions going on in that.
Yeah. At the time writing this song, that's exactly what I was feeling. It was complex. I couldn't really understand it, and it's hard to put it in a very simple way. So I bother, I don't know. I feel like if you're bothered by somebody, you either leave or you don't, and you either accept it or you don't.
Yeah, accept it or don't.
Forward.
There is no real gray area, I guess. So I was going to ask, because we talked a slight bit about it before we go into your next piece. Mm-hmm. This is a single, right?
Yes.
So what does that mean?
So what I like to think a single is kind of like a lead up, because I am hopefully going to be making an EP in the future that includes Bother You. Maybe that is going to be the title of the EP as well, just because it's like the main song or not. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
Cool.
But yeah, the single, I like to think it as like a teaser, essentially,
Nice.
of this, a taste of the new sound.
Yeah.
As opposed to what I had made 6 months back.
Yeah, how many, I actually should have thought about that. How many other songs have you made? Like, have you made any other?
I haven't counted, but my discography is definitely growing quite a bit. If you check out the website that's on my Instagram, it's...
Which is a good time to plug?
Sure. Yeah, it's juliangabbard.onuniverse.
And I'll spell that out for you guys. JulianGabbard.onuniverse.com. Right? Cool. Let's make sure I'm spelling your name right here. Yeah, check that out. That's actually where I got a lot of my information from, and he has most of his stuff on there. And it's actually pretty well done with the website,
Thanks
too.
So much.
Yeah, check that out.
It's an app. It's so awesome.
Dude, that's
freaking...
What amazing technology we have.
Right. I'm blessed.
Yeah. Well, cool. Okay, so any other things about Bother You I wanted to mention?
Not really.
Okay.
I like it. I think it's a great representation of the new sound, because I'm trying to make things a lot more crisp. I have a lot better of equipment that I'm working with right now, too. So in the future, I hope to get some good stuff out to you guys.
Yeah. And then hopefully, I think when I end up airing this show on YouTube and stuff, I'll try to attach the lyrics, if that's all right. That way you guys can read along to them, too, because they're pretty clear, but it's nice being able to read. I like having them in front of me. So.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so second one, I want to go with Hard to Love.
That's right.
Cool. Let's dive into that one.
Want to make get so confused. All I want is you. All I want is you. Yeah. I see you looking at me. A pedal falls to your feet. Roses in your eyes, they can't disguise the thorns inside. Like you make that hard to do. You don't tell me who it is. All your words ain't making sense. But your heart is my heart. Make them hard to do, yeah. You make it hard to do. You make it so hard to love you. You make it so hard to love you. You make that hard to do.
Dude, these songs are just fantastic, man. One after the other. This is awesome. So, that was Hard to Love by Julian Gabbard. Find his stuff on juliangabbard.onuniverse.com to plug you again. We were talking a little bit about this, and you said you wanted to mention someone.
Yes, the female voice you hear in this song is one of my good friends, Frank Love. She's an incredible vocalist who definitely doesn't get enough, studio time, like
Yeah.
I would hope.
Well, Frank Love, if you're listening, and you have lyrics of any sort, and you want to be on here, or be on here with Julian, just saying, we could probably make that happen at some point. But also, I wanted to ask, because this is obviously a writing show, and we're airing music and stuff, but there's really some intense lyrics here. Baby, it's the truth. Sometimes I get so confused. All I want is you. I see you look at me. A petal falls to your feet. What does that mean?
Okay.
If I could put you on the spot.
Well, when you see a rose, what is your immediate first thought? It's complicated.
Yeah.
It could mean a lot of things. But it's, in that sense, roses are, to me, an apology. And roses, I had this little cute thing I did for this girl in high school one time, and I gave her 12 roses, 11 of them being real roses, and one of them being a fake rose. And I said, I'll stop loving you when all of the roses die.
Cool.
So, hey, ideas for you guys out there.
Nice.
But yeah, I feel like that kind of representative. It's kind of cool. Those past things kind of reach out into the songs too. But to me, that line, "Rose petal falls to your feet," it's the apologies not falling through. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean anything in the moment. Whether you give the roses to them, roses are roses. It's really what comes behind the roses that mean something. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Lyrics are, as someone said prior to the show, was like poetry.
Yeah,
a lot of different ways. I also wanted to touch on this because we were talking about it, and before I forget. So as far as writing lyrics goes and composing all of this stuff, you have a unique perspective on that because you are doing everything in the background, but you're also collaborating with people. How is writing and collaborating with someone different than just regular writing?
It's very difficult, very, very different. Well, when you're sitting in a studio session, like a studio environment, you're in the zone and you're in your own head, especially when you're writing your own music. So when you're working with someone, I can't have my headphones on the whole time and just be there. I have to be with them and be communicating my ideas, when sometimes my brain goes a lot faster than my hand does or my mouse does.
Yeah.
So I spent a long time not working with anyone because I felt like they only held me back. But at a certain point, you have to realize that working with other people is the only way you're ever going to move forward. And, sometimes you just got to buckle up and do it. So that's what I did, and hey, it turned out pretty well.
Yeah,
especially
I'll say.
After a lot more practice. It just takes a lot of time to get your sound and be able to feel confident enough in that you can share it with other people.
As with all good art, I think a lot of people would agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Call me in and send us an email at write.onair@gmail.com. Talk about that or submit. But as with all good art, or with all art, really, it only gets better as your quality as a person gets better, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing like development and growth here, especially when you're talking about your own writing and composing, that's pretty cool. Because a lot of people come to the show and they're like, wow, I write for intensely personal reasons. And it's neat seeing the challenges that each type of writing has, because poetry has its own stuff, freeform has its own stuff, prose has its own stuff. It's all kind of different. And this is one we haven't been able to talk about, which is composing with someone lyrically and musically. That's a different nuance to this.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the thing too is when they're giving me their ideas, I, as the audio engineer, have to put those into perspective and put them on the paper and be like, hey, is this what you were looking for when you said that to me? So
Wow.
it just, another way to go about it.
Yeah. So anything else on Hard to Love?
No, that song is pretty straightforward. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed the little dance part at the end. That's my favorite part. It always gets me shaking around.
It has a nice that last minute was kicking, man.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's dive into your last one here in the last couple minutes of the show.
Okay.
This is Broke. Anything you want to preface this one with?
I'd like to say this is an unreleased song, so you'll be finding this on the next EP whenever I do figure out what's going on with that. And this is including one of my good friends that I did a show back in July at the Women's Club here in Chico, and it was with this group from Sacramento. Their name was Boulevard, and this guy named his artist name is Gray, and he's an incredibly talented audio engineer, same as myself. And man, his vocals are awesome. Very
Cool.
excited to put it in there.
Does he have a pretty distinct part? We'll know when he swaps
Oh
down.
yeah, definitely. Obviously, It's not going to sound like me.
Uh-huh.
You'll most likely hear what it sounds like.
Cool.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll dive in. This is Broke by Julian Gabbard.
Oh, if you can't pull your weight, my baby, it's gonna be okay. Oh, it's all gonna stay the same. No matter where we on our way. Yeah, I'm right here. Don't you worry now.
Dude, that was another sick one.
Thanks so much.
So tell us a little bit about that one.
So that one, it was very fun to make. When I was first creating it, I just got so excited because of that drum, that snare. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Music linguists. I don't know, but that snare really gets me. But
Tell us why on that.
Okay.
Expand it.
Well, okay.
Get into the nitty gritty.
It's
Cool, man.
it just sometimes with that percussion, when it has that bounce to it, you don't even have to necessarily. You just feel it, and then you get your man. It
Cool.
gets me.
Right on.
But yeah, that song, Well, I've been going through it. There was a situation. I'm out of high school. I'm in college. I'm broke all the time. I don't have enough money to pay the bills half the time. And, sometimes when you're in a relationship and you're living with somebody and money becomes like that thing that it's like the elephant in the room. You don't want to talk about it, but it's an issue. This song is essentially me telling my girlfriend that, hey, I'm not going to leave you because it's, money gets really stressful and it really destroys some connections you have with people, especially when it's something you really care about and it's something that you can't get away from it ever.
Yeah.
So this song is just kind of, hey, it's all good.
A reassurance song.
Yeah, we can be broke together. It's going to be all right.
How cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. These lyrics are so. Trying to think of a really concise word for it, and I think the one that's coming to mind for kind of each song is like gentle.
Gentle. Yeah.
It's a good, just very gentle vibe to it, and that's hard to touch on. That's a good writing style and a good mixing style for the music as well.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. A lot of good audio engineers, I'll say, struggle with layering the music well enough to kind of keep the mood consistent, and you've done a fantastic job of that for these pieces. So
I appreciate that, because that was a big thing I used to do with having everything sit nicely, so that it's not ear wrenching, but it's also just nice and like a lullaby.
There's a lot of we don't have time for it, unfortunately, but there's a lot of cool musical theory stuff about how certain sounds hit the ear certain ways and stuff.
Which I could get into that.
That'll be a part 2 show for sure, because there's entire studies of colleges about music theory and all that. But we're in the last little bit. Is there anything you want to touch on? Any shout outs? Anything coming up? If you want to mention anything, if not, no worries.
No, you know what? I really hope that I have shows coming up pretty soon, and when I do, if you're following me on Instagram, that's where I post the most. And honestly, Instagram feeds, I don't know if you guys are into that, but when you look at a feed, I feel like that is very important when I'm seeing somebody, or like when I'm following an artist or something like that. If it's nice and if it's pretty, I feel like that is just as good as if the music is good.
Yeah. It all takes work.
Yeah, I'm very proud of my feed. If you look at the checkered part of it, like when you open it up on your Instagram on your phone, you open up the checkered portion of it, all of the colors are very nicely together.
Nice.
And just appreciate it.
What is your Instagram?
Instagram is juliangabbard.music. Very straightforward, just first last name.
Julian Gabbard, I'm writing it down now, .music. Cool. And then, I don't know, I'm trying to think what we can touch on. This was such a cool experience for me, because we've had some music stuff on before, but nothing with like really good, well paired, just having the artist here to be part of the process for this.
So. I really appreciate being here. It's been such a great experience, and I'm so glad that I get to explain my message to you guys. Some people don't understand.
Quality writing, quality art.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate it.
Well, we're actually going to tag on which song was I leading out with? Bother You?
That was Bother You.
Cool, and that is his single. So you heard it first. All this stuff has been first time on air, right?
Yes. Yeah.
How cool, man.
Man, exciting.
Well, have a good night, everyone, and thanks for being on the show,
Thank
Julian.
you so much for listening, guys. Have a great one.
Thanks, everyone, for that awesome show. This has been Writing on Air, and if you want to submit or be part of the show, you can do so at write.onair@gmail.com. We love hearing about suggestions or comments or submissions. It'd be great. And Writing on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZ...